Everyone's ready? We all ready for the insanity? Another edition of Geek Cypher here on Free X Agents Media, here on twitch.tv/Geek Cypher, and as always, you can just check us out on geekcypher.com. That's it, yeah. Everyone went quiet.
Yeah. Just enjoying the vibe, man. Just enjoying the music, the intro music.
Is it too loud? Because I only hear it playing in the background.
No, it's good. It's good.
Anyways,
if it was loud, you'd me like throwing off my headphones. Like
Seems fine.
Yeah, guys, I don't even think we can. I don't think we can avoid the elephant in the room. I think we gotta hit Joker out of the park.
Oh, wow. Right off the rippity?
Well, it's just the amount of people I'm seeing talk about it, I'm like, well, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's going spoiler crazy because
he got you guys. It's really funny how that guy got y'all.
For me, it's funny that people don't care about spoiling a movie if they don't like the movie.
Exactly.
It's trash. It's trying to save you money.
True.
That is skinny.
It's expensive in these streets. You're trying to save you money. Don't spend $30 on this movie on a date that you might think go down. You are not. No, don't do that. Go see the next joint. Because this movie, it's Todd Phillips laughing at y'all being like, I told y'all I didn't want to make no sequel.
Yo, that's what I wrote.
He did 2 hours and how much $1 million of I told y'all I didn't want to make no sequel.
I wrote a review. So a weird thing that I did for the dumbest timeline, I was talking about Notebook LM. I don't know if you guys have tried Notebook LM yet. It's this kind of weird AI thing that Google came out with to help people study. But what it is you can upload a document and it will scan the document and it will create like a study brief. It'll create like a quiz that you can do. And the weird thing that it does is it creates a fake mini podcast, usually like 2 to 3 minutes. They call it an audio overview of the subject matter in the source. Okay. So I wrote a review of Joker and uploaded it and got a clip of these two AIs discussing my review.
That's so funny.
And it is
how long
hilarious.
Did it take to them? How long did it take for them to realize they have to destroy humanity?
So it's funny you say that because someone uploaded a document about AI to Notebook LM and the AIs started to like panic. Like there's an audio of them like freaking out and being like having like an existential crisis, and people were like,
so weird.
People were just like, oh my god, it's sentient. And then someone was just like, no, you can literally upload anything. Skinny, you'll appreciate this one. You know what song lyrics I uploaded to it?
What?
Black Rob's Whoa.
Wow, why'd you what? Why'd you do that?
And Skinny, when I tell you it drops all the it drops the homophobic F word, it breaks down all the lyrics to the song and just says all the words.
It's not going to.
I think it should. I think we should be mindful of what it's saying. But
it is a computer, it doesn't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's why when people freaked out about the existential crisis, I was like, but again, it's a computer. It doesn't understand. You just gave it a document that talks about how Notebook LM is an AI so that it would have an existential crisis, but it's a fake existential crisis because it's just talking about itself and being like, well, at the end of this audio clip, we won't exist anymore. Isn't that kind of weird? And it's like, yeah, I can't believe that's going to happen to us. And it's like, all right, sure.
Just gonna roll off their back until they think it's not funny anymore, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, we're just not gonna exist anymore."
Wait, the way to get out of this loop is to kill all the humans. Forever.
Y'all don't
know
what
everyone was about.
Thank you.
Large language models, baby. They're the future of wasting our time. But okay. Anyways, I only wanted to mention that because I do want to play the clip for you guys, but I won't because we don't have enough time. Really do have a lot of stuff we wanted to go through. Do you want me to do a quick rundown of the news and then jump into Joker, or do we want to talk Joker first?
Survey says.
Well, do we want to talk about each piece of news?
Yeah, you guys have to decide. Gotta let me know.
I was gonna say Joker.
I'm saying Joker. I'm ready.
And let's do Joker.
Todd Phillips shat the bed and he's an asshole. There, I said it.
Whoa!
I'm with Brian. Don't waste my time, bro. Why do that?
I didn't see this movie, but I don't think anyone intentionally sets out to do a really bad movie. I think maybe he just the execution was bad and he flew too close to the sun. and what he was expecting to do and get out of it was he was not the director to do it.
But Jaws, I gotta ask you, why would the vision be? Let me make an episode of Law and Order. Like, that's what I don't understand. Someone explain to me why this man decided. You know what? The first movie was Law. This one's Order. No, what?
Oh wow!
Because the last movie, he was like, "Okay, I'll do Taxi Driver mixed with, was it the comedian?
King of Comedy.
King of Comedy. That's what I'm gonna do." And then they're like, "That did well. That did extremely well."
Yeah, but homie,
I don't know.
I can watch Law and Order on Thursday nights on NBC. Why I need to pay $30 to see you do it with the Joker in Gotham? That was called Gotham on Fox, and it sucked. There's a reason we don't do these shows. Why are we making the movie version of Law and Order? Someone please explain it to me.
I saw it too.
Hit me, Ness, because I was mad.
I didn't see it, but I heard people mad.
I'm mad.
And I mean, I've been a little scared to say I have a hot take because
Masterpiece, is that your hot take? God damn.
No, Ness, no.
Don't do that. This is almost his homie with Old Boy.
Godfather didn't care for it, but Joker 2.
So actually, when I watched it at the end, I did not like it, and I understood right away why everyone hated it. But then I watched a bunch of videos of Joaquin Phoenix and Todd talking about basically what he was trying to do, and I understood it more, and it made me like it.
Well, okay, hold on, Ness. I gotta ask you: if you went to a comedy show and the stand-up comedian has to explain the joke,
oh no,
because you like the joke better, doesn't mean you still find it funny.
Well, wait, hold on a second, because I don't think it's the same thing. This wasn't a joke that he had to land.
It felt like a joke to me. It felt like I got played for my $30.
For me, I feel like the beauty of movies is the director is telling a story through his eyes. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to understand unless he explains a bit more. So I like to watch videos of what the director says about the movie afterwards to kind of get a better idea of what he was going for. So when I watched the videos, I was like, okay, I kind of understand now what he was trying to execute. I get why people are mad.
Okay, hold on.
I totally get why people are mad.
You know what, though? I didn't watch the video. Can you give us a summary of what he said he was trying to do? Because then maybe I'd understand a bit. Okay.
So what I understood, I haven't read anything about the Joker, so I don't really know much. Again, I don't know the comics. But what I understood is he said that he was not ever planning to do the story of the Joker.
Right.
He said that it was intentionally called it was intentionally called Joker instead of the Joker, because it was a take on a Joker character, not the Joker that's in Batman.
Okay, well,
So I don't understand.
I've heard. Okay, so this part I have heard.
Hold on, and he said he intentionally said that it's an origin story, not the origin story.
Right. One of the things that I said from jump that the best thing Todd Phillips could have done for all of us is if instead of doing sequels that are a continuation of the first movie, he does a trilogy of movies that are all origin stories of a Joker, which I think would have been cool. Because you do the first one, you got Arthur Fleck, you get this crazy version. You do a second one where you do someone else. You do a third one when you get someone else. And the reason that's cool is because the Joker in the comic book, canonically, no one knows who the Joker is. There's different versions of the Joker. Right. There's different ideas of who the Joker is.
And also the Joker is a very unreliable narrator. He'll say, this is my origin story, but then he'll change it. And then he'll change it again. Right. And he'll change it. He's like, this is the version I like.
Heath Ledger. We saw Heath Ledger doing that in The Dark Knight, where he just kept changing his origin because that's a part of the Joker's lore. The Joker never tells you the true story.
He's delusional. Yeah.
Right. Or some people would say he's delusional. Some people will say he's hyper aware. His whole point is you'll never find out the truth because I'm spreading so much misinformation. But either way, the Joker is an enigma intentionally. You can't figure the Joker out. So when Todd's, sorry, you were about to say.
No, sorry. You can go ahead. I was just gonna say that kind of makes sense with this movie.
Right.
He's an enigma.
So I knew when I was watching the first movie, I wasn't watching the birth of the Joker, because he kept saying Arthur Fleck is not the Joker. Arthur Fleck is a guy who is down, and he's a product of a broken system. And I want to show in the film what, like, this is a commentary on like Reagan era. There's actually a comic book called Deadly Class that also comments on this. When Reagan went into office and shut down a lot of the mental health care systems in the United States, a lot of unfortunate situations happened. A lot of people who needed help with their mental health and stuff like that ended up not being cared for and ended up in the streets. And a lot of unfortunate situations came about because of that. This film is set in the 80s, is very much a nod to that, watching the system shut down, watching someone not get the help they need, especially when you find out, I mean, I don't know if they talk about it in the first film, but in the second film, they talk heavy about his youth, growing up, being taken advantage of, incest, a whole bunch of sad stuff happened to Arthur Fleck as a kid. He's a product of that. He got pushed too far, he lashed out, he killed people, all that stuff. Great scene with Gary Puddles, where Puddles is just like, hey man, Arthur's like, I didn't kill you. And Gary's just like, you didn't kill me, but dude, you were the only person that respected me at our work. And I now live in fear. You are my boogeyman. You were the only person that I felt was my friend. And now you're my boogeyman. I see you in my nightmares. It's like wild. So I get some of the only great scenes were like some of the small moments in the courtroom. Yeah. I would say the interview scene with the guy, where you can see there's elements of Arthur's mind, like trying to control himself, trying not to break. His lawyer, his lawyer did, like, when I say Law and Order, I am still putting respect on it, because I could have named a whole bunch of other legal procedurals that are crappy. He went for the highest. He went for the longest running one for a reason. The lawyer actually cares.
LA Law.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you did say LA Law. You did not.
But like, you know, like the lawyer actually is trying to help, like all this stuff. I love that stuff. But ultimately, I feel like Todd Phillips had an idea for the plot from the first and the second movie. And in the first movie, executed that almost perfectly. It's like watching Simone Biles land after doing some crazy shit at the Olympics. Like, Todd Phillips told us the story of a Joker character in the 80s in Gotham, losing his mind, multiple murders, stand-up comedy, Fight Club type mental break, all that stuff in a 2-hour movie that we all said, well, shit, this was entertaining. He put a lot into it, and he landed that shit. I know, Skinny, you didn't love the first one, right?
I didn't hate it, but I didn't need it.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, I went and saw it because I was like, okay, nobody asked for this movie, but let me go see
Agreed.
it. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll do what you did. You had people cheering a bad guy. It's kind of weird. Whatever.
And well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those movies that goes into the pantheon of edgelord movies.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Well, like, we really didn't need that movie. The time it dropped, it's like, it's not. Like,
that is fair.
That's true.
The time it dropped, especially after, what was it? I think it was the Dark Knight theater shooting thing.
Yeah, a couple years before. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, Todd's is a big joker, bro, because he literally did that on purpose. Dropped it. I believe the director or the studio chooses when the movie drops.
Combination. Usually it depends on your relationship. Like,
I don't think it's the director though.
It depends on your relationship. If you're Nolan, you get to decide. Yeah, but that's like
okay.
Yeah. Like,
so he's not
like,
really there yet.
Yeah,
like
Nolan
Oscar Nolan. Yeah, come.
Yeah.
Tell us what to do.
Side note: Nolan has a film coming out in 2026 in July, because that's usually when he likes to release his movies.
2026, relax. Like,
hey man, movies take time.
Yeah,
man.
especially his movies.
I'm not trying to hear about them dark future years. All those 2025, 26, and 27. Nothing but bad shit happens in those years in movies. I'm telling you. When have you ever heard good shit happen in the year 2028? Shut up, man. Never.
It's the year 20XX.
Right. All bad shit happens after 2020. Like, it's just like, you never hear a good 2029 stuff.
That is fair. Like, in the movies, that is true. That is a thing that they do.
Yeah.
All the 80s people like, when is it gonna go to shit? 2027. Like,
oh fuck, that's crazy.
But
okay. Sorry,
I was gonna say, I think a lot of maybe a bunch of other people don't like it because it's not continuing in that edgelord
Oh, sorry, you're going
direction
back
they
to
were hoping
Joker.
for.
Wait,
It's like, no.
Are you
Hmm?
are you going back to Joker?
Yeah, Joker.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I was just gonna say, like, maybe a lot of people don't like it either because they're like, oh, it's gonna be like me, and they're gonna fix everything, and like, no, there's consequences for killing 6 people. What are you doing?
Yeah.
There's legit consequences.
Yeah.
I'm
This
gonna
man
run
has
around free.
This man is mentally ill. He's not on his meds anymore. There's
Yeah.
consequences, and he actually has a conscience, from what I understand in this movie. He's like,
Yeah.
Well, I would say he is on his meds in this movie until
The end.
So here's one of the things that I don't like that Phillips did that is a problem with what he said when he said, I'm not creating the Joker story, I'm creating a Joker story. Then why did you introduce Harley Quinn? And why did
That was what I was gonna bring up. That was the flaw for me, because I understood what he was going for, but the Harley Quinn thing annoyed me because one, they didn't even use her character well
at all?
She was very useless, in my opinion.
Agreed.
In the movie. And so it really feels like they just did it to add the singing like scenes.
I feel like it could be like, hey, Lady Gaga's not doing anything and she expressed interest in this project. Try to use
but she could have
shove her on her. Try to use her.
Actually, she's a pretty talented woman in general, actor, singer. She can do it all. So when I saw that she was casted, I was excited because I was like, okay, let's see what they're gonna do with her. And it feels like they just used her as a singer.
Vehicle for music.
Cut all her scenes.
And supposedly they cut a bunch of her scenes, which is what.
I didn't know that.
Rumor is, I don't know if it's confirmed, but rumor is that multiple of her scenes were cut. A lot of the stuff that was in the trailer, like specifically them going down the stairs with the dark background and like the fake set version of that exit from the courtroom where they're both dancing down the stairs and reenacting the other staircase scene that he did in the first movie. That's not in the movie. So people are just like, well, where's this scene? And then there was people who got pictures from behind the scenes when they were on the stairs, because when they're on the stairs, they can't lock those stairs down for filming. So they really have to like try and just guerrilla style it. And people took pictures. And there's a version of the scene where there's a kiss. There's a version of the scene where the cops show up. So when you watch the movie, people were just like, "Oh, it's weird. Why didn't we see any of these scenes in the actual final cut?"
Because we wanted you to go see.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, but
that's the thing, and I get where he was going with the singing scenes. It was supposed to be like a like not a vision, but it was giving you an idea of his mind, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So I understood that, but sometimes it was too long.
Yeah.
And it just felt like they were making music videos in between scenes.
Especially because her Die With a Smile music video with Bruno Mars looks like it's one of the sets. Like there's a set in the movie where you're like, oh, this is the same set colored different.
Yeah,
like
it looks similar.
The Sonny and Cher set, that's what that set looked like. And you're like, okay, so you guys essentially just use this set to do music videos after when you were on break. Like, what are we doing here?
Oh,
like,
so that's what that song was for? It was for Joker
no, that's
too?
the thing. It's not
No,
for
it
Joker.
isn't, but the style looks looks like it's in the same
School,
setting.
Yeah, and they're
It's
both smoking cigarettes and stuff.
Yeah, 100% the same set. When you watch the movie,
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that Lady Gaga released an album called Harley Quinn on the same day as the movie.
Bet you did.
So
Bet you did.
It feels a bit like
you thought you were gonna be in that movie, man.
So funny.
Oh,
you thought you were gonna be in that movie.
No,
it just feels a bit like I don't want to say scam.
It does
but
feel
like
a scam.
Kind of.
Homie, you're not using the wrong word.
Too
There's
much
a reason
synergies and they're not
Speaking
working together.
specifically about the Lady Gaga situation, that part feels like a scam to
You
me.
feel
The
like-
singing and the Lady Gaga like being Harley Quinn, that
When
to
you-
me felt like a scam.
When you say it's a scam, do you feel like she got scammed and got tricked into being in the movie?
No,
Oh, okay.
I feel like she scammed us.
Oh,
I feel like her and Todd figured out a way to like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You know, like it was
Hey, check
kind of.
I don't want to make this shit, but I can make you $1 million. Tell you what, you just come here and do a bunch of these scenes. We ain't gonna use none of these shits. You gonna get your $1 I'm gonna get my 33 million. We gonna walk out the door and people gonna be mad. And Joker's ruined for everybody. We ain't gonna use this franchise for like 15 years, baby. Woo! That's what they did.
I bet Joaquin Phoenix is probably like, man, people have been this mad at me since what was that movie he did? The Pretender?
Yes.
Is it The Pretender? What was it called?
The one where he was pretending to be a hip hop artist.
And,
interviews in character.
Man, people haven't hated me this much since I tried to rap. Exactly.
Yeah.
And film it for a documentary.
Hey, Joaquin Phoenix did a really good job, though. I think.
So that's one of the things. Joaquin Phoenix acting great. The guard. I always forget that actor's name.
Yeah,
Gleason or something. I will look it up in a second.
Wait, which guard?
The guard, the big guard, but that was like the main one that took him.
Right. Who's like friends with him or whatever.
Right. That guy, performance, fantastic.
Yeah, he was really good.
The lawyer, his lawyer, what's her name? I'm gonna look up the cast, but his lawyer,
Brendan Gleeson is the
yes, Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson is the guard.
Jackie Sullivan, yeah. So Brendan Gleeson is fantastic. Joaquin is great, and his lawyer Catherine Keener is great.
Yeah.
The scene with Gary Puddles, Leigh Gills, that actor, he knocked that out of the park. Steve Coogan as Patty Mayers, who's doing the interview, knocked it out of the park. Lady Gaga, not so much. And I wonder if that was more. Yeah, I feel like that was more a factor of they really did not write. If you're a fan of Harley Quinn from the comics, I'll explain one thing super quick. What they were trying to do, I understand what they were trying to do. For years, everyone has been trying to separate Harley Quinn from Joker because her origin story is rooted so much in her experience with Joker that a lot of people say like, well, you can't really see her on her own because she's a product of what the Joker did to her. So she doesn't like, she's an Eve to an Adam. Like it's his rib, this is what it is. And he was trying to separate her from that. He was trying to give her her own origin story, but in doing so,
didn't work.
Well, he gave her her own origin story only through her obsession with Joker.
Yeah.
Which is kind of going back around.
Yeah.
To come back to it because the whole point was that Harley Quinn has always been obsessed with Joker. She's always trying to do stuff for him.
And in this one, she wants Arthur is trying to be Arthur, and she wants Joker, and they don't. The thing that I really wish they would have explained at least once in the movie is: does she want Joker because she's in love with Joker, or does she want Joker not in love but obsessed with Joker, or does she want Joker because she wants the anarchy that comes with Joker? But
they didn't do her justice. Yeah. I was a bit confused because I've only seen the movies with Harley Quinn, so I don't know a lot of her backstory. So I was a bit confused with how they were using her character because she seemed confused in the movie.
Yeah. It's weird because from what I heard, it's a little close. So the whole thing is that she's a psychiatrist in Arkham, and she starts working with the Joker, and she feels very sympathetic to him because he's opening up to her.
Oh, she starts working with him.
She's working his therapist in Arkham.
Oh,
so she's like new. I guess she's like fresh out of college, and she's
really like
smart.
brand new. Yeah. It's like one of her first cases, like patients, which already is a sign that Gotham is up because you should not be putting a junior's first year psychiatrist in a prison to deal with one of the most insane people that has ever existed.
Yeah, but again, there's a scam. None of the vets wanted to deal with him, so they're like, "Yeah, here's your stage. Yeah, that's it."
Good point.
You could probably find the animated version of it. I think there is an animated version of it. So basically, it
starts in the animated version.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying, like they actually animated it. It's like it's in the cartoon show.
Which episode? Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying.
She's
originally an animated character.
Right.
She didn't premiere in the comic book. Yeah.
No. And,
okay.
and then they made her account in the comics afterwards.
Yeah.
So she basically becomes very sympathetic to him, and then he gets her to like let him leave or something like that. But he's basically playing her. Like he
takes advantage of her.
Yeah.
And then she like there's one version where they fall into a vat together. There's another version where she just goes crazy.
Yeah.
There's the Suicide Squad version of her is the Suicide Squad version of her with Jared Leto is that she falls into a vat, but she was already going crazy, and you find out that she's actually more unstable than the Joker. Like Amanda Waller warns you, like Joker is an anarchist, but Harley Quinn is mentally unstable. Like she doesn't understand the things she's doing. She's just doing them. Whereas like
that's
Joker,
because of and that happened to her because of Joker.
Yeah, in the Amanda Waller Suicide Squad, not James Gunn, who did Suicide Squad? What's his name? Gunn did the second one, but who did the first one? I don't know. David Ayer.
That's it.
Yeah, David Ayer. Yeah.
But that version is like she's just more broken than even he is. Like that's and I thought it was kind of cool that they were making it that she was even crazier. Like that version of Joker is a gangster. He's essentially a nod to Nicholson's Joker, who wants to
Jack Napier or something like that.
Yeah, he's the version of Joker who wants to be a mob boss more so than anything. He likes power. He likes running shit, and his obsession with Harley is more possessive thing than anything. So I all this to say, this wasn't a great film. I was disappointed with the path. If Todd explained it more and that to some people fills in gaps, so be it. I still think it was a weird decision
or had it in the movie. You didn't have to put in the singing numbers. I mean, you have a whole movie to do that.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to hear Max Landis's pitch
for another Joker film?
For what Joker 2 could have been?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So this was posted up on his YouTube channel. There's like a community section. You can actually write out stuff. If I had to do a sequel to Joker 2019, I think I would have done the same way they did the Return of Superman in the comics. I think Arthur would be in Arkham, but there would be 4 competing Jokers in the real world: an entertainer, a crazy vagrant veteran, a homicidal gangster, and a twisted serial killer. Arthur would eventually be broken out and challenged with trying to end the myth of the Joker on the run before it spins out of control. Would you stick with aping classic films, except instead of King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, I think I would have gone for a triple fudge combo, something like Dog Day Afternoon, Clockwork Orange, Godfather, and maybe, I don't know, not 3 Days of the Condor, 3 Days of the Condor, but 3 Days of the Condor. If any of you have any good pitches or any ideas for this one, why not?
It essentially what he did was take, like, he didn't hear my idea, but that's similar to my idea.
Yeah.
Just like it's, and I think a lot of people like that idea because again, it sticks to the origin that Joker doesn't have an origin. So Arthur Fleck coming out to try and stop these 4 versions of the Joker running around town being crazy is super interesting because it's the idea that I don't want to be the root of all this destruction that happens in Gotham.
But they kind of, in a glance, there's that scene where he escapes the courtroom after the bomb.
Yeah.
And they kind of give you that sense of that a bit because it's like 2 guys who are obsessed with the Joker, and they're so like they're obsessed to the point where they're ready to just destroy everything, right?
Yeah.
But he sees what's going on and he's like, "Oh my god, like I need to escape. This is not good."
No.
This man he almost jumped out of a moving car. He waited till they he was just like, "No, this is not what I want. I didn't want this to go this way."
So I find it interesting that they added that. It's like it was like a slight.
The nods are there.
The
fact that Arthur doesn't want to do this are there.
It also sounds like the director is Arthur. And the explosion of the big thing of the movie is that everyone wants to be the Joker. And it's like, no, that's not the point of the movie. Right. The point is, it's not, you don't want to be the Joker. The Joker's no.
I've heard people make that comment that Todd Phillips was trying to remind people, because so many people were excited after the first film. Todd Phillips was actively trying to make people get the point.
Yeah,
like,
he said that.
I didn't make this movie to inspire you. It's supposed to be a commentary on a broken system and people who do bad things because of a broken system. You shouldn't watch it and go, yeah,
that's
blow it all up. Like, that's not the point of the story.
Yeah, he forgot he lived in America, Dion. Like, hey, they don't do anything to
Facts.
You can I can commemorate some Americans, not all, but some Americans for no matter what. You show them like, okay, this is how you do this.
Yep.
Straightforward, start to end, and they will find some way to jumble that shit into the most boggled word ever, and you're just like, man, that takes skill.
Well, dude, it's like it's like all the fandoms where the Star Wars fandom is calling it woke, but people are just like, you do realize what Star Wars has always been about. It's about fighting fascism, and people are just like, no, we're fascists and we like Luke. It's like, no, you don't. You can't be a fascist and like Luke and Leia. Fascists would not like the people trying to stop fascism. That doesn't make sense, you fucking idiots.
Shouts to the internet, because lately I've actually been seeing like the whole like damning and condemning of the word woke, seeing it like being lifted. More people are being like, nah, man, like y'all are really just stop that.
You just hate women.
It's not just
straight up.
You just hate women. It's not, stop it.
You're sexist, you're misogynist, you're racist, but you're not, it's not woke. These things have always been there.
It's also a thing where like it's like, wow, people really do not want to be called racist at all, so they'll just do this whole other mental gymnastics. Say this and that, call it woke.
That's the boggle I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it takes genius, some kind of genius.
So I got two jokes. I got two jokes before we close this out. Right. If we're closing it out. So remember, Batgirl and Coyote versus Acme died, so Joker 2 could live. Remember that.
Wow.
So you reap what you sow. And also Joker 2, like imagine if you're like, Mom, can I go see Joker 2? We got Joker 2 at home, and then she puts on Bat Dance and Party Man. Got Joker 2 at home. Go watch Bat Dance and Party Man.
I mean, with that said, I don't know, Ness, what's your score? What did you give it?
I actually didn't rate it yet because I've been doing so much like listening to videos and hearing out other people's opinions just to like kind of give myself more of a. I mean, I know I can always change it, but right now I feel like I'm around the 3.5 on 5.
Oh, okay.
So that's like I'm at like a 70, so a 7 on 10, I would say.
Okay.
Maybe 6.5.
On 10. Okay. Wow. You're this. I gave it a 2 on 5.
Yeah, I saw.
And then I think I lowered that to a 1.5 after.
Oh.
After thinking about it for like 24 hours and really processing how annoyed I was with the potential that the first film gave us, and knowing that Todd could deliver a good version of this lore that he's built. And then getting this movie and being like, and especially one of the things that really, I can't spoil it, but one of the things that really bothered me was the ending, because I predicted the ending.
Yeah.
I predicted the ending from the first movie. At the end of the first movie, I said, oh, I thought they were going to do this thing and they didn't do it. And then at the end of the second movie, they did it. At the end of the second movie, they do it. And I was just like,
but also they were like obviously foreshadowing it too.
Yes.
Heavily. From the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
It was like so obvious. They kept showing like the person and stuff. So it was just like, it was a bit like, I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, like Josh said, we're to tie it up. I mean, it is what it is. That's the film. If you are a fan and you want to go see Joker Folie à Deux, shout out to all the Americans who cannot pronounce Folie à Deux. You guys are fantastic. Folie à Deux. Howard Stern has a whole thing, like a whole clip on his show that he played, where it's like all these different broadcasters saying nothing close to Folie à Deux. Just like saying DEUX should not end in a different sound, like yawn or like things that I was just like, I don't understand what you people are doing, but it's fantastic.
That reminds me of, I can't remember which podcast I was listening to, but they're talking about Larry David. And when he was doing stand-up, he would do a joke and he would start off with this joke and he would know the type of crowd he has. And it had something to do with knowing French or at least Spanish and saying like two or something like that. And so he knows if the joke doesn't land, he starts being hostile towards the crowd. And if people laugh, he's like, okay, they know some other languages. Okay, I could be calm and stuff.
Some bilingualism exists in this room.
It's like, that joke's great. What's wrong with you people? You're stupid.
Go read a book. That's fantastic. I respect any comedian who just starts to yell at the crowd. Oh my God. Honestly, I think it's funny when a comedian goes on stage and starts to do their whole thing, and then sometimes
only if it's warranted, though.
Yeah. No, if it's warranted. Sorry, not Michael Richards style where you just go on a racist tirade. No, definitely not that. Definitely not.
Where you're working out something and then you just get mad.
Yeah. Michael Richards had a bad day, and all of a sudden, black people need to be on pitchforks. That's not how I want it.
Doc, one thing I want you to do is remember all the movies you went to go see in the theater, specifically the DC movies that you went to go see in the theater.
Shazam, Black Adam,
pull up the ratings you gave them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like recently?
They're all gonna be low. And
they're all low.
Why you keep doing this to yourself? Who hurt you?
Okay.
Hey, go see the good ones. There's good ones that were in the theater.
For this film, the reason I went to see it is because homie won an Oscar for his performance in the first one. You can't tell me I expected it to be this bad.
I know.
Because the last guy died and they gave it to him posthumously, so I have to give it to him while he's still alive.
No. But Joaquin won one last time for Joker.
I know. I'm saying, didn't Heath Ledger won one posthumously?
Yes.
So that's what I mean. They're gonna give it to him while he's still alive, and it's like, okay, we saw how skinny this guy got. No, let's give it to him while he's still here. Here.
I see. Yeah, because Nicholson supposedly told Ledger playing that role could break you. You will need to like see a therapist and like take some time after. So, okay, I see what you're saying. Sad. So sad. But yeah, okay. I mean, I thought he did a good performance in the first one, but I'm
not saying it was a bad or not bad. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying,
But you know what? Speaking of awards, I'll jump into the news super quick. Emmy Award winner Lamorne Morris. So he won for his performance in Fargo. His podcast that he does with his buddy Kyle just got signed up to Headgum Podcast Network, which is pretty big. Headgum is a podcast network out of LA that was started by Jake and Amir. For those of you who know Jake and Amir from their College Humor days, they started this podcast network. It features We're Here to Help with Jake Johnson, and who is Lamorne's former co-star from New Girl. So there's like a bunch of stuff that he's doing, which is really cool. Lamorne's also on an iHeartRadio podcast with his former co-host, Hannah Simone, for a New Girls rewatch podcast. So it's pretty cool.
I started listening to it.
I need to go back and listen to it. I only listened to the first episode where Zooey Deschanel is still on it, but I do want to jump back in. I don't know if Lamorne's even going to have time though, because it sounds like he's super busy right now. But kudos to him. Congratulations, because that's really cool. Aaron Pierre from Rebel Ridge has been cast as John Stewart in the DCU, DC Studios James Gunverse. I don't know what people are calling it yet. We're still waiting for some sort of official title. Yep.
I was just gonna say, shout out Aaron Pierre. Watch him in Brothers.
Okay.
It's a really good. It's a Canadian film. Support.
Yeah.
About two Jamaican brothers living in Toronto growing up.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
He's amazing in that.
I mean, I've heard nothing but great things, but I realize I have not watched any of his films yet, which I feel bad. But
he's. I haven't seen much of him. He's up and coming, but what I have seen, I'm impressed.
Is he Canadian? I'm double checking.
I don't think so.
Oh no, he's an English actor.
Yeah. Yes, he's English. I knew it.
These Brits coming over.
They're taking over.
He's also the voice for Mufasa in the new.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, he's going to be John Stewart, which is fantastic. I think a lot of people are really excited about that. James Gunn announced that on his Threads earlier today. Also mentioned on James Gunn's thread was Kyle Chandler from Early Edition Friday Night Lights has been cast as Hal Jordan in the DCU. So we have both our Hal and our John Stewart, which is huge news for people who are fans of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, because John Stewart was always super important, and Hal wasn't in the animated series, but people have always been really excited to see Hal come to the big screen proper. Ryan Reynolds. It
always seemed like they were going to do. Well, I mean, I think they were intentionally going to go do John Stewart first in the movies, and then that George Miller movie.
Yeah.
George Miller didn't materialize in the end, sadly.
Yeah. I mean, it made sense though, because I think we've had that discussion on this show. John Stewart is the Green Lantern an entire generation knows because of the animated series. Yeah. So, no offense, I know a lot of diehards believe Hal Jordan should definitely get the first stab at it, and he did. He got his first movie with Ryan Reynolds. It did not do well. Deadpool even makes jokes about it.
Ryan Reynolds won't let it go.
No, he's
Ryan Reynolds will make amends with Wesley Snipes. He will not make amends with that movie.
But he met his wife on that set, right? Isn't that the movie they did?
Oh,
together?
really?
Yeah, him and Blake Lively did that film together.
I think she had dark hair in that movie.
Yeah, she does. She does have dark hair. So
that's why people don't remember.
So it's sometimes when I see it, I'm like, homie, I mean, you could be mad, but at the same time, your wife, your kids, all that came from that horrible movie. It's the silver lining. So Velma, we're gonna go into cancellations. Velma,
Death Watch.
Yeah. Yeah, we should call it Death Watch. Speaking of HBO products, Velma has been canceled by Max. So they got their Halloween special that just dropped. It's available now on Max. I already watched it.
And figured.
The internet all sang. And
I stopped watching a while ago.
I mean, I gave it a chance because I was just I saw the news that it got canceled right before watching it, and I was just like, so how did it? Yeah, I saw the news it got canceled, and then went onto my streaming site and saw it, and I was like, all right, let me watch this and see how do they end this then? And of course, they do end it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and you're just like, but the series is done. So, speaking of ending on a cliffhanger, Kaos ended on a cliffhanger on Netflix, canceled also.
Oof.
Kaos starring Jeff Goldblum and
I was just about to start that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you still can. It's just that there's no closure.
You can still.
Do I really want to start a show that doesn't have an ending?
There's so many. I'm gonna be honest. The way it ends, the whole season builds up to an ending that you're like, oh, this is gonna lead to some cool stuff in season 2, and then it got canceled, and I was like, but I posted on Threads 3 weeks ago. It's gonna be annoying when Netflix cancels Kaos, and then 3 weeks because I'm gonna explain something super quick that
I think they cancel everything now, though.
That too, super quick. I listen to a lot of industry podcasts just because I find this stuff super interesting. But there's one specific industry podcast, The Town, where they got industry specialists to break down how Netflix makes decisions on what to keep and what to cancel. And if a show doesn't hit the top 10 on Netflix, not just national, it has to hit global, and it has to stay there for a couple. It has to stay there for a bit. It can't just pop up one day and disappear. They want to see at least a week of it at number 1, maybe 2 weekends at number 1, and they want to see social media presence. And Kaos didn't have either of those, so unfortunately, that's how Netflix is. Warrior Nun.
Wow, everything is really run by social media now.
Yeah, if
algorithms.
Yeah.
And
algorithms.
It's one of those things where I'm annoyed that I think Jerry Seinfeld was complaining about how TV isn't doing more sitcoms, and then he starts naming a bunch of sitcoms from his childhood, we all got in front of the TV and we watched All in the Family and the Jeffersons and this, that, and it's but everything's fragmented now, man, and it's not cheap to do sitcoms. You don't have the time and the money behind it to say hey, this show's not doing good this season. Let's give it some time. Let's let it let it sit and simmer. Let's see it build and build and build.
Seinfeld, by the standards of the industry, Seinfeld wouldn't have lasted past season 1. Season 1 of Seinfeld had very low numbers, and they gave it a chance.
And also, I think he was saying that you can't do anything in comedy anymore. And it's like, but aren't you watching Julia Louis-Dreyfus's show Veep? Aren't you on Curb Your Enthusiasm? Aren't you watching what was the other one? Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like they're doing crazy stuff and pushing the boundaries and making people uncomfortable and stuff. But
I'm sorry, but have you ever watched Miss Pat's show on BET?
No.
Miss Pat.
She has some wild stories though.
Yeah,
wild stories.
Miss Pat's show is fantastic. It is very fun to watch. But there's like literally episodes about the fact that her areola got shot off by a drug deal gone wrong.
Yeah.
And they talk about how I'm missing my nipple on my titty. Like there's like a whole joke about how she's missing her nipple because it got shot off in a drug deal gone wrong. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Jerry, shut the fuck up. You can do stuff. People are doing stuff.
I think the thing is that he's just not. He doesn't look at anything. He doesn't watch anything. Like he's admitted it when he was when he did Comedians in Cars with Neil Brennan, where he said, "No, I don't look at it. I don't watch anything. I don't watch anything."
Yeah.
So his reference and everything he's talking about, he's just, and it's like also your jokes they're very safe. So the only time you got, the only time people said no, you can't do that was when he made a joke about was it a gay French prince and everyone got a gay French king or something, and everyone got a little bit and everyone, and it's like, but your mantra is that the crowd decides what's funny and what's not. Dude, just because off one joke didn't land, all of a sudden I can't do anything.
Jerry is the epitome of I was once cool and I'm now the old fogey and I don't know what's cool now. Because he literally was the guy who was saying like the audience decides what's funny, like this is comedy.
That wasn't even that long ago.
No, I know, but like, he ran the 90s and also Jerry, let's take a moment to really take a look at who you are. You were the highest paid comedic actor on television for a hot minute. This is after you were dating a 17-year-old girl.
You're bringing it up.
And it's just like, dude, shut up. Like, you got away with murder. You would have been 100% canceled if you did that shit now. If you were Jerry Seinfeld on one of the biggest shows on television and dated a 17-year-old, dude, Chad Michael Murray, is that his name? The kid from One Tree Hill?
Yeah.
He was dating a girl who was underage and took her to her prom. And people looked at him sideways, and he didn't get work for a long time. It's like, dude, when you do stuff like that, and that was in the 2000s. Yeah. It's just like, Jerry, just shut up, collect the checks, and disappear. Like, don't stop. Like, hey man, I'm not comparing the two, but Bill Cosby used to keep judging black culture all the time, and everyone said, Bill, you need to shut up because we all know what's in your closet. And when Hannibal did the whole thing and said, stop telling us to pull up our pants because you were dropping Spanish flying girls drinks, the whole world blew up. And it's just like, Jerry.
I remember something that threw me off about Bill Cosby was me and a friend were watching a documentary about the Playboy. Oh,
yeah.
So every time in this documentary, whenever Playboy had a TV special, Bill Cosby was there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
But
sure. Okay.
I would say,
and it was just time, like, oh, he's there again. It's the 80s. He's there again.
Oh, I think, okay. Well, not the same. Yeah.
It was like when like the show was in black and white. Oh, After Dark with Playboy. And it was just like, like, oh, hey, we're going to talk about stuff. And like, and then it was like, oh, hey, the Playboy Mansion's doing a volleyball tournament, and Bill Cosby's like one of the refs.
I was gonna say, if you're telling me that Bill Cosby hung out at the Playboy Mansion in the 60s, I would understand because the Playboy Mansion in the 60s was like Rat
a
Pack.
cultural thing.
Yeah, it was like a cool thing to be seen at the Playboy Mansion. Hugh's walking around. He has his pipe. The bunnies are there. It's all cute and innocent. We find out later on things were not that way, and it's very unfortunate. Some of the things that the women went through, and Hugh turned out to be equally a monster. But anyways, you know.
But no, it's just every time there was a TV special with Playboy, it was.
But like, I didn't know he was there until the 80s hanging out. It's just like, Bill, go home. And the thing. Bill, Jerry, all y'all, go home. Stop it. Just leave the industry alone. You were comedically important, and no one is trying to take away. Well, Bill, we might be trying to take away what you did because you fucked up a lot. But
he fucked up a lot. But what sucks is that he also did a lot.
I know. Like, that's why I'm kind of like. But Jerry, you literally got away with murder. Honestly, like, dude, stop it. She was 17. Like. Did he do it? Yes, he did. There we go. Okay.
Did it?
Yeah. Did it. And speaking of the 90s, that 90s show was canceled on Netflix
also. They are trying to shop the show around, though, from what I've read.
Yeah, you were saying, which I would be shocked if they could do it, but yeah.
Yeah, at first, I won't lie. Like at the first season, I think it was just because of nostalgia.
Right.
I liked it.
Yeah.
But this season was just I couldn't even get through like the first few episodes. Like it was just so bad.
I watch shows like that. So you know how NBC Peacock did that Ted show? They like did Ted when he was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Peacock did the Ted Show, which was a sitcom. Speaking of sitcoms, they did that 90s show on Netflix. I use those shows as Lego building shows. So what I do is I like sometimes because a Lego build can take like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Long, yeah.
Yeah. So but those episodes are like 20 something minutes. So usually what I do is I will just sit here, the same space. I have the TV show there, and I'm just building Lego, listening to the show and like glancing up and chuckling to myself every once in a while. And next thing I know, by the time I finish the Lego set, speaking of which, Ness, the Lego set you got me with our Secret Santa at work, the Wakanda set, that was the one where I watched Ted. I watched the entire run of Ted while building that Lego set in one sitting. I finished it just as the season ended, which is a little long because it's like 20. I don't know. I took your time too long, but all to say, like, those are the types of shows, and honestly, those are nice shows to have where they're kind of just playing in the background. But I understand that shouldn't be the inspiration or the aspiration. Because I've heard some people talk about the fact that like when they go to Netflix, some guy said, I wish I had the clip, but he was working on a show and he pitched it to Netflix, and Netflix asked him to make a bunch of changes, and he's just like, I don't think those changes would make sense for the story, and they were just like, no, but like, you know, you need to change this and you need to simplify this part of the story. And he was just like, but why would I simplify it? Like, this is part of the story. It's important for this reason and this reason. And supposedly, he says, the executive said to him, listen, we need the show to be simple enough that a mom like taking care of her kids on a weekend can have it playing in the background and still get the story and not actually sit down and watch every episode.
Exactly what you just talked about, Doc.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't know. I didn't
something else.
I do that for me, but I also but Jaws. I watch like way too much TV, so I'm not the best example because I'm thinking Netflix ideally is not making shows with me in mind. I'm not the ideal.
They know people are watching their stuff passively. They know it.
For sure. I think that's the average viewer. That's the average viewer on Netflix.
Think about it like this. Back in the day,
noise.
Think about it this way. Back in the day, your parents would leave the radio on just to have some noise in the house.
Right.
Nowadays, we're leaving the TV on in the house just to have some noise in the house and some light going on so people think you're in the house.
Yeah, that's true. That is so sad, though, to think that when Netflix started, it had, again, larger aspirations to be a really good network. And, you know, unfortunately, again, Kevin Spacey, but House of Cards was like a really groundbreaking show for them. And it like, really caught people's attention, and people started to take them seriously. Like, oh, shit, they took this British show and remade it with Kevin Spacey, and it is fantastic. Everyone was talking about it. Every character was interesting. Intrigue, murder, potential bisexuality. From Kevin Spacey,
but now everyone's attention span is too short.
Yeah,
you can't make unless they're viewers like us who watch a lot of TV. Like most people aren't that. So as soon as you make it a little too deep, people lose interest.
And also you can kind of get broken a little bit because of, TikTok and shorts and trying to find something on YouTube that's like, not too long, but long enough. Like
even I sometimes catch myself when I'm watching a show, I'll catch myself scrolling on my phone and I'm like, what am I doing? Like sometimes I catch myself. And then I like throw my phone because I'm like, why am I like, sometimes it's like you get caught in that. But Netflix has become like a hub for, I feel like reality TV is really big now.
Yes,
in general,
and in general, but also they're pumping out a lot of reality TV shows.
It's just so cheap.
It's
Like, I think was it. So I was watching a documentary where they were explaining that the reason Cops got approved is because they only had $40,000 in the budget, but wanted a season-long show. And the guy that pitched them on Cops was just like, I could make the whole show for $40,000. And they were just like, what? And he's just like, yeah, man, just let me take the cameras and walk around with these cops and I will get you the show for under the budget you're looking for. I can easily do it. I don't need a lot of people.
And so it's easy for them.
Yeah, it was cheap. It was insanely cheap. And then for under $50,000, I might be wrong. Please double check that number. But from what I understand, it cost him almost nothing. And the dude said for the first season outpaced other shows in that time slot that cost 3 to 4 times more to make. And they were just like, we're making the money back on the advertising already. The show costs almost nothing. Yeah, 5 more seasons. Keep going. And then
that's why they have now there's 8 seasons of Selling Sunset. Who asked for that?
People just want to see rich people doing stuff.
I like that.
I know, but
I can't live in.
It literally, I think the first season came out 4 or 5 years ago. It doesn't even make sense how many seasons are coming out.
I remember listening to Conan O'Brien's podcast, and he says sometimes he just needs to just disconnect and just calm down his brain, and that's what he watches. Something that's not.
I'm guilty. I won't lie. I'm guilty of it. I sometimes put it on the background just to but I also studied real estate, so I have an interest in real estate.
Oh, cool.
So when I started watching it, that was more my interest, but then it became obviously about the drama, and then the drama started being too much. But obviously that's what reality TV is, and that's what people like about it.
Yeah,
but I mean,
actual real estate, when I see those Below Deck, I'm like, do they ever actually sail the boats? Do the boats even
Below Deck though? That's my show. That is actually that it's funny because I'm not a person who watches a lot of reality TV, but that's the one show that I will always, always, always root for because it is hilarious. Seeing the back end of yachting and the employees and just them shit talking the rich people and the rich people treating them like crap, and then they're trying to sabotage it. It's just, to me, it's hilarious.
But okay, is there something in place where the Below Deck people can't be fired if someone watches the show? Because I would imagine.
What do you mean?
Because you said, the Below Deck people bad mouthing the rich people, the yacht. But if I turn around and watch this show and see you, the employee, bad mouthing me, why would I not fire you? Later on in the years, what's protecting you from being fired by this person you just insulted on the yacht?
I mean, I think it's just it's expected. The people who work on these boats know that the rich people renting these boats are assholes. It's kind of like it's kind of like a known thing. So you can shit
them assholes.
No, but not to their face.
Right, but they're doing it in front of a camera.
No, well, the thing is, Below Deck, it's not like a reality TV show where they're talking to the camera on the side. They don't do that really. Well, they do it sometimes, but it's not. It's mostly you see them they'll go downstairs into the staff room and be like, oh, this person, blah 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 blah.
That's what I'm saying. When they have the below deck scene later on, when this person who owns the yacht is now watching the show, or
oh no, they don't own the yacht.
Oh, it's renters renting yachts.
Yeah, so the show is about the Captain Lee. He's literally it's been the same captain for the past like 10 seasons. He's the one that started the show, I think. I don't know exactly if he produced it or what, but he's been the captain for all of the seasons, and every single season he has a team who takes care of the charter guests who rent out the boat. So they don't own the boat. It's just rich people renting out the yacht for a few days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're seeing the back end of the employees dealing with these type of people, but none of them own anything. So like they can't really get fired. Also, like they know it's a reality show, so the whole point is like you kind of want to see them shit talking.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's. That was my first. That was the only, because I don't know the show and I've never watched the show. So obviously, for anyone who's watching this and is a fan of Below Deck, I have literally never watched an episode, so I have no clue how it works. In my head, all I kept thinking when I heard about Below Deck was, y'all are gonna badmouth the owners of these yachts? How are you not getting fired?
No. But it's really focused on the staff.
They're not.
No, I mean. They're still spending like a lot of money.
Yeah, that's fair. I just thought they owned the yachts.
No,
it's like when you rent the suite so you can take pictures to pretend you're on a private jet. It's like,
well, I think some of them own. I think some of them do own yachts, but the show is about like, I guess Captain it's just Lee. About, yeah. And it's mostly like they show you like the staff hooking up with each other and them going out on the like
True blue reality TV.
Yeah. How about the hookups?
Oh yeah, always.
But
I was hanging out with somebody yesterday and they were talking about someone mentioned Love is Blind and the person next to us overheard it and they started these two started talking so much I just walked away.
Yeah.
And no one even noticed I left because they got so deep into talking about Love is Blind that I was just like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And I just, Homer Simpson did. I backed away and then just stepped. And I realized they were still talking and did not notice I left. And I was like, all right,
Love is Blind is another reality TV show that has 1 million seasons and 1 million versions now.
It has 1 million versions,
in the span of like 5 years.
There's Brazil, there's Korea.
I can't even keep up.
Japan.
But someone told me there's gonna be Love is Blind Habibi, and I was just like, that cannot be a title. I hope they're lying.
I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, because they are like they're going in every single avenue they can with the show. Like
that's it. See, so speaking of Netflix's algorithm, the reason Netflix is putting so much money behind Love is Blind is because those shows regularly end up in the top 10 global because the format is so international.
Yeah.
Like you're just doing the same thing in different countries
over and over again.
Yeah. And it's not hard to be like, okay, well, it's simple. You have people like, I don't know, X amount of guys, X amount of girls. I'm interested for when they do Love is Blind, like a pansexual or Love is Blind, gay, pride, or like, because it's just, if you're doing the same thing over and over, it's almost every time I hear people talk about Love is Blind, it's the same exact stories of like, well, the girl said this and the guy said this, and when they proposed, they both realized they were lying.
But Netflix is actually ahead of you because they did do a reality TV show of
with queer characters, queer couples.
No, not queer. There is a queer one though, I think, but there's also one for people with
autism.
Something like that, yeah. I can't remember the name. Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
Yes. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they are exploring other avenues.
Right. I think the messy one of those is The Ultimatum.
So, yes, I've heard about that one.
The Ultimatum. So there is a straight one. There's a lesbian one.
Okay.
So those are messed up.
So many.
Like, I want to get married. How old are you? 23.
And you're wondering why your partner is just like, I don't think I'm ready. And it's just like, well, we've been together since we were 16. And it's just like,
I think my favorite was there was a girl, this black girl and this black guy, and she was just super just like anytime he said what he actually thought, she would get mad at him. So she wanted him just to placate to her, just to like, hey, I'm asking you a question and I just want to hear what I want to hear. I don't want to hear what you actually think. And so they get on the show and he goes with somebody else and she's mad because she thought that
I feel like I've heard this.
He was going to come running back. It's like, no, you brought me on the show to do the stupid experiment. So I did the experiment. Why are you mad at me? You did the experiment too. It's like, yeah, but you were supposed to come back. And it's like, no. And they still stuck together. Like, I think at the end.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. I think they weren't going to get married, but they still stayed together. So like.
Oh, yes. You're talking about In Love is Blind.
No, not Love is Blind. In The Ultimatum.
Oh,
The Ultimatum. It was just like
I can't keep up anymore.
That one I remember because I think that was like the first season or something.
I have been, because like we were saying, because there's so much reality TV, I'm having a hard time finding interesting shows to watch sometimes.
Same.
Because it feels like everything is just reality TV shows.
Right.
Or true crime.
Oh God.
There's too much.
Dude, I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about the fact that every show now, like all these true crime shows or these kind of, FX shows and stuff, there has to be a murder in the first episode. And I was like, oh, yo, it's true. Every time I watch one of these shows, someone's offed in the first episode. And like, that's a really depressing thing. So I just wanted to give people a rundown of I know that's what the guy said.
I remember listening to Conan O'Brien's podcast again, and he pointed out every single written show now is here's the big action thing that happens.
Yeah.
And then, let's go back in time.
Yes.
And then actually give you the story. And it's slow. So it's not even slow, big action thing. It's like, we got to get you in now. And now, once you see that big action scene in the first episode, now we can go back and tell you the actual story that we have to tell you.
I just wanted to quickly list off some shows that I've been checking out that I think people might find interesting if they want to give it a chance. If you guys like the Has Fallen series, Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, there is a Paris Has Fallen series now that stars homegirl from Umbrella Academy, that got added in the last season. Her name is Ritu Arya. She plays Zara Taylor next to Tufik Jalab, who plays Vincent Taleb. Their chemistry on the show is so good. It's essentially like a buddy cop show, but just more serious because like it's a Has Fallen universe. So like shit's actually hitting the fan. There's like a guy trying to make a dirty bomb to blow up Paris because the Parisian government fucked him over once, or French government fucked him over once. It's like, oh wow, this is crazy.
Damn, okay.
I never watched this show, but the guy who created the show is Duplessis, who was on whatchamacallit, the morning show on Apple TV. Yeah. So he made a show called Penelope. The reason he made it is because he wanted to give his daughters a show that was slightly more positive image of young girls than his joke was than just Euphoria. Like we have to stop giving people Euphoria as a depiction of how teenage girls should be. Yeah. So the show's called Penelope. I don't know if I like the lesson in the show either, though, because it's about a teenage girl who like goes on a soul searching journey in the Pacific Northwest, but essentially runs away. So I don't know if that's any better. Like she runs away and is kind of like traveling. And he was just like, he was so excited to tell us about the show. Mark Duplass, is the creator. And I was just like, okay, but you don't want Euphoria, so you don't want drugs and sex, but you want runaway, live in the woods? That doesn't sound better. But if you guys are interested,
both are problematic.
I would say if my daughter is doing drugs but is at home, that feels slightly safer to me than my daughter is gone. Like that to me seems crazy.
Don't worry, she's in the woods.
Yeah.
She's in the wilderness.
I've heard a lot of people talking about Nobody Wants This, which is
I just started it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so I watched a clip of these Jewish girls breaking down why they don't like it because they feel like all Jewish girls in the show are poorly depicted. I honestly watched the show and I didn't think so, but
is that the one where it's
Kristen Bell and Adam Brody?
Is that the one where one of them is a rabbi, a young rabbi?
Yeah, Adam Brody is a rabbi.
Exactly.
Kristen Bell is essentially call me daddy. Is that the name of the podcast? The girl that hosts Call Me Daddy.
Yeah, Call Me Daddy.
And
so I don't remember seeing Jewish girls, but maybe I'm not there yet.
No,
yeah.
From what I heard, the controversy is that people don't like the depiction of how the family doesn't like her, kind of thing. And
I'm not there yet.
And she's like, "Well, I'm just going off of what I experienced." And depending on certain people. If you ain't one of them, this is like across the board in any kind of.
Yeah, that's
usually when people don't like you, they'll let you know and give you subtle jabs and stuff.
Bernie Mac did it with Ashton Kutcher, that movie. Who's Coming to Dinner or something?
You mean the first Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Yeah, like
not that one, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I know, but I'm talking. Jaws. How many people you think saw the first one that are watching our pod?
I'm sure people are showing that in high school. Like, hey, this is important shit.
No, they're not, dude. Come on. The Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher is definitely the one people our age saw.
Oh, my
Half
goodness.
the people didn't even know that was a remake. I agree with you. I would name Jaws. You know I would name the original if I thought people would remember it. I definitely didn't think anyone would know.
Sorry, go on.
But nobody wants this. From what I heard, a lot of networks passed on it first before it got approved over at Netflix. So the joke was the title is a little tongue in cheek because no one wanted this. But supposedly it's doing well. I didn't hear if it got greenlit for a second season yet, but it is doing the social media thing
well.
and it is getting a lot of buzz.
I do remember her response. The creator's response was like, "Well, even though the older women are, how I depicted them, the main lead is a hot looking Jewish guy." Like,
and also the actress playing Belle's sister is Jewish. Like, there's a lot of like Jewish actor, like there's people playing Jew, non-Jew. Like, I thought it was funny to hear that kind of depiction, and then you just look up the cast and you're just like, oh,
what was the movie with Jonah Hill and he dates the black girl?
Oh yeah, with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, and so like he's kind of a douchey Jewish guy. He's going to temple and he's like got the tattoos on, not even bothering to cover up. He's talking in the middle of it. Like no one complained about that. So I guess
yeah.
I mean,
if you guys are looking for a fun sitcom show that kind of burns through real quick, I watched that one in like a matter of 2 days, just like on and off.
Yeah.
Again, unfortunately, but yeah, it's very much. I watched it while like playing video games.
Right,
I just had it like playing in the background.
I have one to recommend to watch. Everybody Still Hates Chris episode 1 on Comedy Central's
it's
YouTube. On YouTube. Available on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, and I like how they transitioned from how it ended in the original show to this new animated show. It's really funny, and it was well done. It's on brand. It's very much on brand.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
The first 2 episodes were good. The barbecue episode is the second one, right?
I probably yeah.
Okay, yeah, the barbecue, yeah, that was good. Another show that I checked out that just started on HBO called The Franchise. This one is it's a comedy. It's an HBO comedy, so it's a little bit crazier. It stars homeboy from Yesterday, Himesh Patel, Aya Cash, Jessica Hines, Bill Magnuson, and Lolly Adefo. I always feel bad that I can't pronounce her name properly. Lolly Adefope. Yes? No?
Probably maybe.
I tried. Apologies. I really do wish I knew how to say her name better. Oh, and also Daniel Bruhl is in it with Richard E. Grant doing some. He's a main character, but he kind of comes in and out. It's from what I understand. I'll read the description. The crew of an unloved franchise movie fight for their place in a savage and unruly cinematic universe. The series shines a light on the secret chaos inside the world of superhero movie making. So obviously, when you watch it, you get the idea that they are talking about like a DC film or a Marvel film. The thing that's crazy is they're making this movie at the same time that another movie is being made. And I guess this one is like a sequel or takes place in the same universe. So you find out in the episode that the villains of the movie that the show is about, the fish people, get destroyed, or there's a genocide and all the fish people are dead in the other movie, meaning they don't exist in the universe. And the like studio comes and tells the guy, hey, yeah, so the fish people are dead. You can't use them anymore. And he's just like, the director's like, the fish people, the same fish people I'm using as the villains in my movie are all gone. And it's just such a great scene to watch a director be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? So, you know, HBO, I like, one of the stories I heard, because supposedly the people who helped write this, they got stories from directors who actually worked on major films, like Hollywood blockbuster stuff. And one of the stories that I don't know if they're going to use it, but one of the stories is one of the directors found out that he was working on a film that they never planned to release because they were already making another version of the film somewhere else. And they essentially just had him on contract doing busy work, filming stuff. And that's going to be part of the stories. And I was like, can you imagine that? Yeah, Jaws, you probably know better than me.
People were saying that the reason that a lot of tech companies, like their stock tank, well, not stocks tank, but they let go a lot of people because they were hoarding talent.
Oh my god,
they were hoarding talent. So they would like, oh well, we got this really good guy, so these other companies can't get him. What they got him doing? We're just kind of giving him the runaround a little bit, you know, just hopefully he doesn't do, you know.
I hate that
we have
much.
to like cut jobs. All right, fire all these people that we're not using at all.
So it is brutal when you hear some of these stories. Like I was so mad when I heard that one because I was like, but you like I get, and I know some people are gonna say like at least they're getting paid, but it's just like, yo, guys,
paid to do nothing. No one wants to get paid to do nothing. People want to do something, have something out there.
Ask anyone who worked on the Batgirl movie how they felt, because all I heard was people saying we wanted that movie to come out because we wanted people to see the work we did. Yeah, we didn't just collect a paycheck. We made a film. We made a piece of work.
That was 3 years of our life. A year of our life gone.
Insane. I like stuff like that.
Prove it. Can't even put it on my IMDb.
Exactly. Mind you, I worked on it, so you know it's on my IMDb. joke. Also, English Teacher. It's an FX sitcom. It's crazy, like full on. If you like Abbott Elementary, this is not Abbott Elementary, but it is.
I was waiting for the punchline.
Yeah, it's not Abbott Elementary, but it is very entertaining. It's okay. Like yeah, the dad from Veronica Mars is the principal, and every episode you can just see this man, like if he had hair he'd be pulling out more. Enrico Colantoni.
He's Canadian. He's from Toronto, if I remember right.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he was on Just Shoot Me with David Spade back in the day. The show stars Brian Jordan Alvarez as professor or teacher Evan Marquez. Supposedly Brian Jordan Alvarez was like big on TikTok at some point or social media, and then I don't know anything about him, but he got a show, and the show is really funny, so people can go check it out. And Trixie Mattel is in like one of the first 2 episodes and is fucking hilarious. She's so funny in it, so good. Anyways,
love Trixie.
Those are some of the recommendations. The quick rundown.
Oh wait, I recommend indie film called DD. It's directed by Sean Wang.
Okay.
It's loosely based off of his life. It's about a Taiwanese American kid growing up in America with immigrant parents.
How do you spell DD?
DD is DIDI.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, really good film. I recommend.
Oh yeah, I found it. Okay.
And Piece by Piece is coming out this Friday, so I'm gonna go see that. Hopefully, you guys see it too, and we could talk about it next week.
Which one? Sorry.
Piece by Piece, Pharrell's Lego movie.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so tempted to buy that Lego set because you get like 100 minifigure heads.
It's so
50,
cool.
50 different heads, and they're all different.
Oh, I was just exaggerating, but you get 50?
I think it's 50 in total.
That's crazy.
Oh shit!
So I would love that. That's so much fun to have.
Another.
I was thinking that's so up your alley, Brian.
I know. I'm so tempted, but anyways, I'll just think about it. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. God damn it. Because I don't want the rocket is the thing. I would literally just want the 50 minifigure heads. I don't want the like The Rocket's super cool. I just have nowhere to put it. I'm telling you now.
You will find a way.
But maybe you can get just the. Maybe not. I don't really know how it works.
No, because anyone who has it on Bricklink after they open the box and take out they're going to charge up the wazoo just for that. They're going to charge the equivalent price of the whole set for just a mini.
Right.
Crazy. Anyways,
but
guys,
still go see the movie.
Yeah. It's really cool that he has that coming out. That he decided to do it with Lego, which is kind of crazy. So that should be a lot of fun. Anything you guys want to tell the people before we bounce?
As usual, check out Transformers Slag and the Toy Armada podcast with Aaron Archer on YouTube.
Bong. And The Dumbest Timeline, new episodes. I'm releasing them on Mondays now. It just made a lot more sense for me. And also, I got to release one on September 30th, which was International Podcast Day. And I released the latest one this past Monday. Like I said, you get to listen to the robots talk about my review of Joker. It's really weird and creepy, and it sounds like demon heads. That's what my friend said. She's just like, it sounds like demons have read your review. But yeah. So check it out, guys. We're out. That's the whole show. We appreciate y'all. Don't forget to check out geekcypha.com. GWEKCYPHA. Peace.